come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Give praises to Jehovah, from whom all blessing and knowledge will flow. Blessing and knowledge will flow. The Village Talk Show, dedicating to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life, helping each one of us in realizing our dream at any age, any point, starting from today, day. Success. Come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Success is not spoken, it is done. Success is done. Come on now. The Village Talk Show. Talk Show. The Village Talk Show.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today in the Village Radio Talk Show. My name is Roderick Daly. I am your host. Joining me in studio is Andre Dolman, our executive producer, who I'm gonna put part-time host there because he gets on and he struts his stuff as well. And our co-host, John Sampson, who looks like he's...
Why I gotta be part-time?
Right? I don't know, right? And we're hoping to have our co-hostess, the mostest, on a little bit with Dr. Joanne Bryant. So thank you for joining, watching, viewing, and most of all, sharing and subscribing to our Village Radio Talk Show. I am Roderick Daly. I am your host. Where we're dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education, helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any age, at any point, starting from today. Where success is not just spoken, it is done. All right, so let's start with Andre. How you doing, Andre?
Great, as usual. Always gotta be great, gratitude, thankful, and at peace. That's it. How about y'all?
I'm all right. Hanging in there. John, how you doing?
I'm all right. One day at a time.
Yeah, one day at a time, sweet Jesus. That's all I'm asking of you. Right. And again, hello, villagers. In case I didn't say that in my opening monologue. We can't have a program without you. Please tell a friend, bring a friend. Right?
All right, baby, let's get into it, man. What are we getting into tonight? What's going on? What's happening in the world of politics? You got government shutdown. You got the mayoral race. You got what's going on in the communities. What's going on, fellas? What's happening? What's happening? Government shutdown. Donald Trump, Letitia James being indicted. So what's going on? The Attorney General of New York State has just been indicted by the federal government, by Trump's DOJ.
John, let's get
into it, man. Let's get into it. What's up?
Let's put it all. Let's start with this current government. Hey, Delroy, how you doing?
What's up, handyman? Delroy, the handyman.
Right.
The Zoran. He's about Zoran. Go ahead, talk to me.
So.
We got to get into Zoran too.
Trump is setting the stage for a major setback in American government that he's creating a complete partisan government for the near future.
You know what, Magic? I have no sympathy for us
No, hold
because
on.
this is.
Wait, John.
Come on, man. Come on. Let's get into it. Let's
Hold
don't
on.
be no niceties. Let's get into it.
I agree with you, right? But what I'm saying, I shouldn't use the word partisan. I shouldn't use the word partisan. I should use the word retaliatory government, not partisan.
Logic, but this is what happens. What Obama said: election has consequences. This is the impact that people did not realize. Come on now. Let's talk truth.
It's not just consequences, John.
What is it then, Roderick? Tell me what it is.
It's petty behavior.
But why is it petty behavior?
But it's not the consequence.
It is the consequences of us not getting out to vote. Those who thought, those African Americans who decided to vote for Trump, the Hispanics who decided to vote for Trump. This is the consequences of us voting for Trump or those not voting. And this is the consequences that we face. And he told everybody. So let's don't mix it up. This is not. Let's don't. This ain't no rose garden. This is the consequences of our inactivity of being involved in this political process. This is our responsibility. We created the monster because we did not get out and understand what the importance is. Now you got the Supreme Court doing what the hell they want, giving this guy all this power, decreasing our voting rights. So, you know, this is us. This is us being lackadaisical. And this is what pisses me off.
But I agree with you. Everything you said, I agree. But that's not what I'm talking about. Like, that's one aspect of it, right? And that's so important that people failed to understand that their inaction or their behavior is. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the use of the DOJ, even when every Democrat gets to office, right? It's the use of the federal government to carry out personal vendettas and behaviors moving forward. That's what I'm talking about. Like,
Roger, I agree with you wholeheartedly, but you know what? But Roger, it is because we put this person in power to be able. This is, you know what Trump did this time around? He wasn't concerned about putting the academic people who knew about how to run government. Trump knew to put loyalists in those positions who are going to follow his every single direction and not giving me any pushback. And this is what I'm talking.
And the question becomes, is that how government is supposed to be run? Is that how
we all know this is not how how government should not be? You know that.
You know, Andre, I thought about the following statement. I don't know if it was you I made a statement to, or maybe somebody else. But Trump is behaving, right? Trump is behaving in a manner in which he thinks that he is going to be a king without the title of a king, meaning that he is going to be in office for the remainder of his life, so he could do whatever he wants.
Well, you know, I would agree with you. You know what's interesting is, you ever listen to Trump's commercial? He does a commercial in which he tries to sell his coins or whatever it is. He says, "This is Donald J. Trump, the best president that you ever." This is what he thinks he is. Our president thinks that he is the best thing since sliced bread. He's the best president. You know, he's better than all the other presidents because this is his mindset. You understand that? And the reason he has this mindset is because we, the people, those who voted him, acquiesced. They gave him this authority and this power. We all know this is seriously a vendetta for him going after Comey. He's going after all of his political enemies. But it's an unfortunate situation that they're talking about democracy. It ain't about democracy no more. It's not about us. It's not about us when they go when they go low, we go high. No, when they go low, we got to go even lower because that's what they will only understand. So I commend Senator Schumer and I commend Hakeem Jeffries for sticking to and shutting the government down. Our president only understands strength. And if we keep acquiescing, we have to hold. We got to hold no matter how awful it gets. We have to hold so they can understand the pain that we are understanding. And this is the difference between the Democrats and the Republicans. The Democrats understand now with this guy. Trump does not care. He has not cared. But you know who does care? House of Representatives, the Senate. So we have to make them suffer. And the way we make them suffer is not giving them what they want. This Obamacare, what they're talking about, the subsidies doubling and tripling, this is real life for a lot of them. And they're starting to understand it. When you got Marjorie Green, I mean, I'm on a tangent now, brother. When you got Marjorie Green making that point, because their people are feeling, they're going to feel it. So this is what we need to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in, you know, I give Donald, I give the president his due respect. And the only reason I give him that due respect is because he told us what he was going to do. He told us what we were going to do, and a lot of us didn't believe him. I respect him for that because he told us that. He did not hide it. He told everybody what he was going to do.
You know,
but it was,
I want to add something, John.
Go ahead, brother. I'm on a roll tonight, man. Especially since I'm part time. Go ahead, baby.
Because
Go ahead.
And you represent what a lot of Americans are, and which is upset. But what I'm saying is, come November 4th, whatever special election, whatever special voting, don't just talk about the anger. Get out and vote, right? These small elections, they matter, right? They matter to send the message for 2026, right? It matters in sending the message to the White House right now.
Right? And Roderick, I'm with you. I hope that, Roderick, I agree with you. I really hope that takes place. I really do. I hope that we have gotten a little taste of what's going on. And they realize, you know, when Eric Adams talked about, you know, we talked about the lawfare and the federal government going after him and the DOJ going after him, indicting him. But now you see people like Comey, you see people like Letitia James now know what he was talking about. This is what happens, irrespective if it was Biden, irrespective if it's President Trump. This is what can happen when you have individuals in positions who have control over these agencies. They can make your life miserable.
And you know what's funny? If he stays in office and the case gets expedited, Tish James can lose her position that she's held since is that 2019?
Well, like I tell her, you know, with respect to Comey and with respect to Tish, what's interesting is that what I would do if I was the attorney, I would definitely subpoena the prior U.S. attorneys for the office and have them testify as to why they did not think this case was not, why they did not put this, why they felt that this case should not have been, why this case should have not proceeded. This is very interesting, and I would want, if I were her attorney, I would want all the discovery and everything, all the communications, because we all know what's very fortunate for them. The president talked about this, and I would definitely go to trial. This is retaliatory. We know it. It's plain and simple. The president has made it so obvious for this woman to come in and all of a sudden get these indictments when the prior U.S. attorneys who were there, which Trump agreed to, they said, you know what, there's really nothing there. And this is truly the weaponization of the judicial system in the U.S. Attorney's Office. But you know what, listeners? We've been talking about this for decades. We've been talking about this a long time. This is what happens with our criminal justice system. You know what I'm saying? It is not It is not fair. It is not balanced because you have individuals who have their own agenda who can manipulate the system to make your life a living hell.
Do you think this the system itself would ever, I guess, become better, change, like, or what is it that we really gotta
I
do?
would not trust this system because what is going on now and what has happened in the past. And this is why I advocate to all our listeners and those who are on this show, please take part in your jury system because you're the only one that can bring fairness and equity back into the system. If
So
you guys are not, yeah, I mean, because you see what's going on. And you know what? Sometimes you have to look for the the um the silver lining in all of this. And the silver lining is all of this is that listeners do not take your your obligation of being part of juries for granted. Please be involved in the judicial system because it's only through you guys that we know that we can get fair trials and everything else. Otherwise than that, we have people who are in positions, these decision makers who can decide to bring these cases, ruin your life, spend all your money, make you spend all your money, and you have no other reason but to accept the deal, knowing that you're not guilty, but because you have run out and this has been a burden on your family and you financially you have to cut a deal. So that's my point. And I don't blame President Trump. I don't blame him because he told everybody what he was going to do. He told us
Yeah,
what he was going to do, and we voted for him. And
John,
we didn't vote.
I don't I don't think that people came with the expectation that 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 he was going to weaponize the federal government, right? The federal government at this level to carry out. Yeah, forget about ICE and the immigration. That we understood that. Forget about um protection of Egypt. Forget about that. I'm talking about I'm talking about removing or going after um the vice president of the United States by removing her security details, going after Tish James by weaponizing the DOJ to go after them and do his bidding. Um, it's to carry out his petty. I don't think the people who voted for him knew how narcissistic and sadistic his behavior would become.
Are you kidding me, Roger? You kidding me right now, right?
No, I'm
You're
not.
kidding me right now.
I mean, he
They
said
did not. They did not realize that when this is what he talked about at nauseum.
he
Right.
was gonna do what he said he was doing. So
This is exactly. He said they are very nasty people. They're enemies. What did he say? They're enemies with him. He talked about them. He knew what he was going to do. He knew what he was going to do all along. He told everybody, was it Project 2025? He told, oh, I didn't know anything about it. Give me a break. He knew about it. The same person who did Project 2025, we gave him a position in his administration. And he's responsible. I think he works at OMB. He's going to deal with those agencies now that deal with this whole budget crisis, the government shutting down. What do you think agencies are going to shut down?
No, no, no. He denied. He denied
He
knowledge.
denied that. We know that. We know that was a lie.
We
Come
knew it
on.
was denied, but he denied it. So
We knew that was.
he did not accept that that's what he was going to do. When he
Yeah,
got
but
into office, it became evident that his denial was a straight lie.
yes.
People believe the lie.
Mhm,
Right?
mhm.
People believe the lie.
Right, 100%.
A lot of us didn't believe the lie, but people did believe the lie.
But Roger, we knew what was going on.
Or you know what, John? They might not have openly believed the lie, but they believed in Project 2025.
But you know what it is? But they didn't believe that so many people, Republicans, or those we acquiesce, would be complicit in all of this. They thought they would stand up and push back against it. Are you kidding me? That's not happening. And this is why, listeners, you know something I would advocate for? I would advocate for term limits. I would definitely advocate for term limits. Because a lot of them are concerned about securing their position for the rest of their lives. You know, they can't speak up, they can't talk truth to power because they're concerned about being able to hold on to the positions for decades. So if there were term limits, they knew 10 years I'm out of here, 12 years, 16 years I'm out of here. You know what? At some point in time, I can gain some courage. And another thing that needs to be term limited is Supreme Court. Because to have these people sit on there to impact, it's just horrendous what's going on in the Supreme Court. It has become so political that, you know, it's why even bother? You know, and he controls the Supreme Court. He controls it.
I think the Supreme Court.
Like getting on to, yeah, I'm sorry, Roger.
I think Supreme Court should stop at 70. Like once you pass, like, you know, when you're a New York City police officer.
Yeah.
When you reach 63, your automatic retirement.
For 70 years old, you're 76, whatever, you need to get out.
I'm going to say 70. 70 or 72, the oldest. Right? That's
because, you know, because I you know, what's interesting is, and it's very unfortunate, but if you see in Donald Trump's administration, you see, and listeners, I'm not a racist or anything like, but you see so many white men in that administration, so many white men that are making decisions that have impact on our lives.
You know, the concept, John, is that you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. So what you're saying is not a racist statement, it's a true statement. So it's a fact. You know, you're not giving somebody some faulty facts. You're telling the truth. True. He has the makeup in his cabinet of predominantly white males, mid-age. That's his cabinet. And what's also fact is that the people in his cabinet are yes people. That whatever he says,
no pushback whatsoever.
Right.
I look at Marco Rubio, what he said about it when he was running for president. Pete Hegseth, who's the head of the Department of War, talk show host, former military guy. Anything Donald Trump says, he's just going to do it. All of them are the same. You know, for them to sit around the table and just keep continuously praising this man, there's nothing wrong with that being in support of your leader. Nothing wrong with that. But no, at some point in time when the leader's going up the wrong mark, like even Bondi does whatever he says. Kash Patel is the same thing. You know, you need to pull him aside and say, you know what, Mr. President, certain things we can't do. And let me just show you what it is. I mean, because you know what? I say this, and I think we harped on this long enough on this segment dealing with this, is that what he's doing now, when there's a Democrat in this position, and the Democrat does the same thing, I don't want to hear him say a word. Because you know, if it was me and I became president, I would do the same damn thing that he's doing. The same thing. I would not hesitate one bit. None whatsoever. Because people understand that we can't govern like this. We can't, you know what, you can, it's okay now because we have one party rule. But what happens when you have Democratic rule? It won't be okay. And this is why the American people are so pissed off. Let's just do what's good for the American people. Let's just do what's for our people. Of course, I can be pissed off at them doing whatever they did. You know what? But President Trump, like, you know, what's getting lost in all of his pettiness, what's getting lost is what he's trying to do with Israel and the Hamas trying to get the hostages, that's getting lost because that's really good stuff that he's doing. His whole thing trying to deal with Russia and Ukraine, that's all positive, excellent stuff. You know what I'm saying?
What's up, Joanne? Welcome.
Dr. Bryant, welcome, Dr. Bryant.
Hello, good evening.
I feel like I ain't see you in a minute on here. Oh man, how's the school year so far?
It's going.
Yeah.
It's going.
So you see, some of the stuff we're talking about just now regarding the mayoral race, and how Trump is essentially in control of the Supreme Court, or what are your
Of
thoughts
course.
on even the fact Adam drop out and the Cuomo took up gain a lot, and Mamdani didn't really gain as much, but still in the lead.
What are my thoughts on that?
Yeah, like, what do you think? Think he might win or Mamdani is gonna win too?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I really don't know who's going to win.
Mm.
I think people are so, after the election, the last election, I don't put my hopes on any of that.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
I think people are concerned, especially, I think recently with the school thing or a lot of people want change, but they're also cautious about what type of change. So you have both, a combination of both. Some that don't want to go back to the way things used to be,
Mhm.
and some who are willing to give. Like I was speaking to a gentleman just Saturday, and he said, "Yeah, why not give um the young dude a chance?" I said,
For
"Oh, okay."
Mamdani.
He was like, "We already know what Como did. We
Hmm.
already know what he's about." I said, "Okay."
Yeah, I think even this aspect of just giving a chance, really, like, I guess if I was even in conversation with a person, I'm like, what, you tell me more rather than just say give a chance, because giving a chance is not going to fix what we want to be fixed. And I also think that people just have this political fatigue, tired of going out there and choosing someone you believe that is going to be a good lead for what you want as an individual. People have to remember that the leader isn't just focused on your desires and
Needs.
wants. They're looking at the entire group. So someone is going to benefit and someone else is not going
Is
to
gonna
benefit.
lose out.
Yeah.
I still have not heard from both, actually, from any three of them that's running their educational policies. I hear about 3K or early childhood, but beyond that, there's life beyond pre-K. So I just want to hear what their educational platform is because I haven't heard anything thus far.
Mm.
I don't know what Cuomo's platform is. I don't know what Sliwa's platform is. I don't know what Ndami platform. None. None. I haven't heard anything.
Gotcha. Wow. Yeah.
So I am part of that crew that is, you
You're
know, fatigued with everything.
Oh,
Politically fatigued with all of that.
and that's another. I think just based on what's happening right now, I think more people are just really just care about the safety and just like being financially well, be financially okay, being safe in the neighborhoods, and even as you mentioned, education. What are we doing
Mhm.
for education right now?
Mhm.
You know,
Another look. I'm wondering if people are gonna come out and vote. That's the thing.
I mean, based on what I'm seeing,
Because
it
the
looks like it.
primary that took place in June, not too many people came out to vote.
Mhm.
So I know that a lot of people are geared for the presidential election, and I am wondering, are they going to come out for the mayoral election.
Yeah, no, I do think so. I think the larger the election too, people will definitely come out. The mayoral one is big. I think that people would come out for that one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so Roderick said computer died.
Yep.
Uh, so he thought he plugged in it correctly. So that's what I think will happen. Another. I guess you want to add anything else to this, or
No, do you know who you're gonna vote for already?
if I know, nah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay. You're
mean,
still undecided still?
it's not even undecided really. I never share who I vote for. you know,
Okay.
you
No,
know.
but do you know? I'm not asking you to share. Do
Oh,
you know who you're gonna vote for?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
You know, um, I don't think necessarily undecided. It's just I go there and choose who the best person and all, and based on what you're seeing that that helps. But
Mm-hmm.
it's about choosing. You choose one. So
Or
you
you
only got
choose none. Choose one or choose
yeah.
none. That's
Yeah.
it. That's a choice too.
I mean, it's a choice. It's a choice, and I think it. I don't know. I don't know. We get in only two choices. The main thing really is the fact that regardless of who you choose, there's gonna be something that benefits you and something that doesn't. You're just one person, right? And one of them is going to get chosen, even if you
Mm-hmm.
don't do your due diligence. But the thing is, especially what we're talking about, is that you're not doing your due diligence in choosing, then whatever results happen, it's like
It's
not
on you, right?
yeah, it's like not having a right per se to complain about
That
something,
is true. That is true. You
so
are right about that. Um, you know what was surprising? What's surprising is the Republican Party really haven't stuck out for their candidate. I'm really surprised because usually they stick together, but I don't see that.
which what are you referring to?
Sliwa,
Oh,
usually they would go all out,
hmm.
go hardcore, but I don't see that in the way.
I feel like I never seen that because every time I hear about Sliwa is when the election coming up. That's
Yeah, but
really
I'm
what.
I'm kind of surprised that they, like any election, the governor or whatever, they
Hmm.
stick. They're thick.
Hmm.
But this time around, they letting the man just, he's doing all his bidding. He's doing everything on his own,
Hmm.
and that's shocking.
He's trying to make his move, trying to really get going. But like I say, I don't know. I never really hear much about him until election time.
Who are you talking about?
Sliwa.
Sliwa is just your perennial Republican candidate who's running for mayor or whatever position. He's perennial. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
my
it.
my, my thing is, in this whole thing, since Adams has dropped out, is one thing with Zoran, um, is rhetoric versus reality. Freezing. He talks about freezing the rent increases. Hey, I have no problem with that, but I have not heard one conversation about the real estate taxes, the water and sewer things that small landlords are going to be impacted by because those increases do help. Uh, there's a lot of, everything that he's proposing, there's nothing wrong with it. But how are we going to pay for it? And what's the plan B when Hochul is not going to raise any taxes up, not going to raise any taxes. She's going to be running a very difficult election against the woman Stefanik from upstate New York. It's going to be very difficult for her. So she's not going to do anything in the budget to increase taxes because we all know that's a death knell. If you look at what's going on Long Island, a lot of people the Democrats were making inroads into Long Island, but now you see that there's a small transition happening where people are solidifying the Republican Party out in Long Island. So we got to be very mindful of what we offer. We know there's the issue of affordability, but we have to tackle it right and making sure that at the end of the day, people like us, the middle class and the working poor, are not going to be paying for all of these goodies that he is proposing. You
Mm.
know, because at the and what bothered me with Zoran is that when they had an article about the people in his administration, I didn't see many people of color in his that has his ear. You know,
So
when he talks about a Patrick Gaspar, okay, but when you look at the photograph that they had in the post, there weren't many people of Hispanic and African American involved into the as we say the nucleus of these decision makings. So I'm very concerned about that because
real
one thing people can say about Adams' administration,
mhm.
you had a cross section of what New York City looked like in his administration.
So real quick, there's two comments here, but with Chuck Mohan, he says that the reason why, going back to what Joan had
What's up,
highlighted
brother Chuck?
about Sliwa and not having the Republicans come in to help or signing, rallying around him, he said because the Republicans and the weak Democrats will come together to beat Mamdani. What do you think of that?
Well, you know what, Chuck, and one thing, you know, Chuck, you know, my interest in respect to Mandami is, you know, I hear what he's proposing, but the only thing I ask is just show me how you're going to pay for all of this. That you are not talking about increasing the real property taxes on the people here in the city, cutting programs here that really impact the middle class and the working poor. I have not heard that from him yet. So if you have his ear, if you have his people's ear, tell him we want to hear about that. And that's the skepticism that a lot of people, homeowners here in New York City, have of a Zoran administration. Because if you look at the people who are supportive of him, there are a lot of young people in support of because they like what he's talking about: freezing the rents, free buses, free childcare. They love freeness. You know, they love freeness. But who's going to be paying for all of this? That's all I'm asking about. It's not that I'm against them, but you can have lofty ideas. That's how it starts, with lofty ideas. But what is reality? You know, I've been at the table and I see what's going on. You know, I'm not talking about one-shot deals. I'm not talking about gimmicks. What I'm talking about, reoccurring revenue that can pay for what he's proposing.
You know,
You know, and Cuomo's another, you know, it seems like, you know, with Andrew Cuomo, I have I'm just disappointed in Andrew Cuomo because it seems that he always takes advantage of these situations when there's a question as with respect to minority leadership. You
you know,
know,
I want to chime in on something.
Wait, hold on one second, Roderick. Just to know that there's a comment by Janice that I want to get to as well. But go ahead, Roderick.
The MTA just raised its fare,
$3.
right? Just raised its fare. Do you think that the MTA, which is not run by the city, ladies and gentlemen, right? It's not run by the city. So Mamdani essentially does not have control, full control of the MTA buses, the city trains, or Metro North, or any of those people that belong to MTA. He really doesn't have control. How does he propose to get it done? That's one. Two, MTA just raised their prices. So you think they're going to say all of a sudden, Mamdani's in, you have no power, and I'm going to okay that New York City buses are not free, which you have no power, no say over, by the way. Right? So not only are you presenting this proposal to the city, to the voters, which is a pipe dream, but you also have no control over the decision to make the buses free. You can lobby to make them free, but you don't have control over making them free because you don't have the final say. It's the governor. So, is the governor on board?
The governor will not be on board of calling for any increases into taxes. When it talks about increases in the bus fares going up to $3 next year, she will not go for any increases. She's running for re-election.
Yep.
She's not going to support any increases that have an impact, especially if you're talking about increasing. You know, there was the community tax. So the community tax was eventually taken away. Then people from Long Island, suburban areas, they don't want to hear anything about a community tax. You know, when you talk about Wall Street, levying a certain tax on Wall Street. What COVID has taught a lot of us is that you can work remotely. So why should I have my business in New York State or New York City when I can have it down in Florida and we work remotely?
You don't have to go that far. Florida, you can go to Delaware.
You go to Delaware.
So speaking on that too, really, just to go back real quick, as Janice was talking about, if Mamdani taxed the rich people, or according to him, he's going to tax the rich, but they'll move out of state. And I'm thinking, like, or they just figured a way to, you know, write off or skirt around whatever taxes they might be getting.
Well, they can do that. They can put it this way: you can hire the accountants to figure out a way in which to deal with that or whatever. There's some who will move their businesses. There's some. This is New York City. Everybody wants to live here in New York City, but the bulk of those taxes will be paid by middle and working class people. He talks about raising taxes on corporations, small corporations, and those corporations will be small businesses. Those people who are billionaires. Let me tell you something. You know, his taxes will impact. You have two couples. You have a couple. They work for the New York City Department. They work for the NYPD. There are chiefs. Husband's making $275,000 a year, and the wife is making, say, $275,000. That's $550,000 worth of income. They're considered to be, quote unquote, brackets in that 1%. However, they have 4 kids who have to go to school. They have a mortgage and everything else. They're in that 1%. And have to pay those additional taxes. But these are two people who have city jobs.
You know, John, two principals married each other.
Two principals, correct?
Right. You know.
Look at Dr. Bryant. Dr. Bryant is in that 1%. You know.
Yeah, by herself. Yeah, and she has kids.
Mm-hmm.
So you have.
I don't see Dr. Bryant smiling.
I think she's frozen.
She's frozen.
Dr. Bryant is always serious. She don't like jokes.
You heard what we said, Dr. Bryant?
She don't like jokes.
I heard what you said.
See, I told you she don't like jokes. I told you she's all serious and stuff. You know, always. No matter what you say to provoke her, she remains serious. But yeah. But in all seriousness, again. The one thing that you know about, first and foremost, he's not the first politician who got elected because they said they're going to raise tax on the rich, right? And didn't make it to raise tax on the rich. So I'm not impressed with the concept of, oh, I'm going to raise tax on the rich. You ain't doing crap because you're not the only one, and everyone else has been unsuccessful. So why makes you think that you're going to be successful? You get what I'm saying? So to me, it's like it's like a promise that you can't keep. But people, you know what it is, John? It's the opposite of Donald Trump, right? It's the opposite of Donald Trump. He said things that people didn't believe, and he's doing it. right? But people didn't believe that he would do it, right? Although that's what he said on the campaign trail. Mamdani now represent the opposite of that, which is I'm gonna do these things, which I can't do, but I'm gonna tell you like a fool that I'm gonna do these things, and you're gonna believe me. You get what I'm saying? And you're gonna believe that I can get it done because you're an idiot. And you're gonna.
I wouldn't say. I wouldn't characterize him as being an idiot. I wouldn't.
No.
Because
No. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that people voting for him are idiots. Right? That's not what I'm saying. Don't get my statement wrong. What I'm saying is like Donald Trump. Donald Trump says I could kill a person in the middle of Manhattan or wherever the city was, and you'll do nothing about it.
Get away with it.
You'll get away with it, right? And in a way, he's right. Right? In a way, he's right. Because essentially, he's doing some stuff that people say, oh, he couldn't do it. And he's doing it, even though I like some of the things he's doing, but he couldn't do. You get what I'm saying? Like, oh, whatever. I'm saying Mamdani's saying the opposite. I'm gonna tell you that I'm gonna be able to do all these things,
knowing that I can't do it.
Knowing that I can't do it, and you're eating it up. Just like how you didn't believe that Donald Trump was going to do what he's going to do. So he's playing on the naivete of the voters, right? On the naivete of the voters to let him into office, right? Period. If that makes sense.
Well, yeah, you know what, Roger, I think what he's doing is similar to what Trump has done. Trump has said things that people want to say, but they're afraid to say.
Yeah.
Mamdani's saying what people want to hear, what some people are not saying. People want to hear. They want to hear you talk against you want to show support of the Palestinians. People want to hear that you want to stop.
Yes.
You want to deal with the affordability issue. You want to stop all these rent increases. You want to provide free services to the people. You want to give things to people.
Right.
You know, and the people who need to pay for it is those people who are wealthy, who have reaped the benefits of the system. You know what I'm saying? So we need to claw back. They need to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Right.
He's working on the passion of the people. I'm tired of the bus fare. I'm tired of this. Everything keeps going up. Rent keeps going up. This keeps going up, and it becomes
it's a struggle, man. It's a struggle. He's speaking to the people's struggles.
Exactly.
And the people are finally saying somebody's talking for us. Some people's telling about our struggles. What's going on? What are we going to do about it? People are not talking about it enough. He's talking about it. He's putting into the forefront. But
that's exactly
my listeners, I understand you want to bring it to the forefront. But at the end of the day, I ask, how are you going to provide all of this for us?
There you go. How are you going to pay for it?
That's all I ask. Tell me how you're going to pay for it. You know, there's an article in the Post, which I'm not so inclined to believe everything in the Post. You know, what's the plan B? Tell me what your plan B is.
I want to point out something real quick and fast, right? I was in a meeting at Borough Hall on Tuesday. Going back to what Mamdani's saying, right? And they're building a 29-story apartment building in that community. 29. I posed a question. Back in the 80s, they built the Nehemiah houses. You remember those? That made home affordability for many of our low income, middle class citizens, right? In which community right now do we hear conversations around building families, building units? You think a developer, I'm going to be honest, I'm a developer. I spent $1 million to build this property. I can't charge X, Y, and Z rent. Period. Because I got to pay back that loan plus make a profit to pay and to take care of my family. That's one. Two, the bank, even let's say the city subsidize and make low income affordability. Right? Let's say the city does do that. Right? Where's that money coming from? It comes from people who makes $100,000 and better, who have families who don't qualify for anything. So now their kids can't go to the same school that the low-income families can go to their school because now they're saving money. And if the property is not fixed, this is not done, that family, right, has even less money to pay anything. So where is this money coming from that is going to support?
Roger, just like Janet, my family, Janice Lester said, it's like her son. It's like nobody's paying. Like the buses are free now. Nobody's paying for it. I understand that. That's why the bus fare is going up to $3 because nobody's paying for it. Everybody think they're going to get on free. But you know what? Those people who do pay for it, we're going to have to pay extra 10% now because those people who think the bus we're not paying, we got to pay extra 10%.
Yep. And that's where the problem comes in. Is a significant issue. Right? Is a significant issue in my mind.
Janice had highlighted something on the bus earlier about people really not paying their fares. She said her nephew rides, and I guess the nephew noticing those things as well. So people really not. People just pretty much just jumping on. It's not really making a dent. So MTA raising the prices, probably one might say, it's likely hurting those who are really who are actually paying for it.
So low income individual, a lot of people, it's not that they're jumping the bus, by the way, Janice. It's not like I think in certain select buses, the transit police comes in, not transit police, but the Department of Transportation have their people, MTA have their people that comes on and check it at certain areas, right? And also, because of safety issues, they have bus drivers. They don't necessarily check you, I guess is what it is. But imagine this is going on, and people who are who have jobs that they can't afford to lose and don't want to get arrested, they are going to pay on that bus. And so it's not that people are really getting on. I don't think the average person is getting on more for free than before, right? I don't think so. But it's still a problem within our society, to say the least. We have a problem. We have an affordability problem that I think that people need to come to let us know how you plan to afford. What is your cash flow like? It's going to make you pay for this. You know what I was thinking about, Andre and Dr. Bryant?
What's that?
Kind of remind me of the 13th Amendment. Not the 13th Amendment. I forgot what number it is. Let me not say the 13th. The amendment that freed the slaves.
Mm-hmm.
You freed the slave, the Emancipation Proclamation. You freed the slave in parts of the United States that you did not have control of.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So at that time, you're not the sovereign government of the South. It was Robert, what's his name? Jefferson, right? Jefferson Lee, if I remember clearly. Right? Jefferson, whatever Jefferson, whatever. Jefferson Davis. In the South, there's still slaves. And slaves, his counter to the slaves were, you would be free if you fight for the South. So any black person who step up and fight for the South will be free if the South won. Right? And the Union is saying, you're all free. Come fight for the North. Right? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, in essence, when I think of the Emancipation Proclamation, I also think of what Mamdani is saying. I am going to give you free bus services, and I don't have any control over it. But I'm going to give it to you. Abraham Lincoln says, I'm going to free all the slaves in the South. And that, don't forget, people, if you didn't secede from the North, like Maryland, you were still entitled to have your slave. So I'm going to give jurisdiction. I'm going to give orders in a place where I don't have jurisdiction. Now, it did come to fruition because the North won, so it ended slavery, but the South created Jim Crow laws.
Yeah.
Right? That essentially say, well, you don't have to be my slave, but I'm going to screw you anyway. Right? Screw people of color, which has killed both physically and mentally and familially people over the years.
People are not paying their fares. Who rides the bus on the panel?
What does that mean?
Which one of us ride the bus?
Hey, hold on. Yesterday, I was just on the train yesterday, so.
Yeah, I do. I'm not saying that everybody, there's enough people there because it's getting more expensive.
Mm.
It's not because people just don't have it. So Janice, I hear you that there a lot of people hopping the train, right? And they're doing more they're trying to argue the state to criminalize it to the level of when I was a young person.
But Roger, those people who are hopping the train and not paying for the fares, this is why they are people who are hopping the train, who are hopping these buses and not paying fares. They're basically decreasing the revenue that's coming into the state. So you know what happens when that happens? We're going to see fare increases, and this is what it is. You think we're getting away, they're hopping in, but eventually we're the ones. We're the ones we're the ones. The working class people and the middle class people are the ones that are going to be paying for it.
And that's the point, and that's why Mamdani's rule doesn't work. His rule is better off to argue, to fight, to lower bus fare and increase the penalties for hopping the train. You get what I'm saying? Like, well, I love the Japanese system. right? You can't get on and off the moment you try to get on that train, you can't hop the train. You can't hop the train in Japan. Because the moment you try to, it sets up. If you try to jump over the turnstile, John, it goes off. The moment you try to do that, it goes off. If you try to walk through with somebody else, you can't. You must pay your fare. So I'd rather them to work on. No, I agree. I'm saying yes. I am saying that there are many people who don't pay their fare to jump the train. I agree with you, Janice. I'm saying yes. That's what I'm talking about, the Japanese system.
But they're not paying their fare. But you know, the impact of them not paying their fare causes the price increases in the fares.
Right.
Because that's all. But those who are not paying fares, that's all lost revenue.
Right. The law-abiding citizens have to pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Right. So that's why I'm bringing up the Japanese system, Janice, right? To say that within the Japanese system, it's extremely difficult to fare hop. That's what I'm saying. Right. And that's the system. They need to lower the fare, right? Lower the fare for people to make it more affordable and increase opportunities for penalties for not right, for whatever, right? You should, people who are on welfare and those federal assistance, those people should be given an opportunity to have, reduced fare, right? Apply for reduced fare. You get what I'm saying? So that everybody's paying, but you're paid to your ability. Seniors pay this. The disabled pay this. If you're disabled, you're on Social Security, and they can prove it, you get a reduced fare. Because obviously, if you're on Social Security, you have no major income.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. Those things would make it more affordable for me than to lie to citizens, to make them believe, right? To make them believe that you can make buses free all across, right? And good luck with it. If you can get it done, I'm like, all right, way to go. But show me how you're going to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the funny thing is, in the state, they're trying to drive more people to use public transportation by increasing bus lanes, lowering the speed limit, right? They're frustrating regular drivers. They're increasing speed cameras. They're doing all of these different things that would affect the daily commuters in New York City. So not again. And again, we got to look at what's happening in order for us to say that he's going to be able to get free bus services. And the most important question is, for 10 million people or over 1 million people a day who use public transportation, how do you plan to pay for it? That's the most important question, because you can't tax the rich. No politician has been able to tax the rich at that level that will cover the cost for the average family. No politician has been able to do it. Right? So, yes, Janice, I'm with you. I'm with you about the not paying fare. But then again, for everybody, nobody, you know what's funny, John? Everybody who's saying they're supporting Mamdani has yet to give anybody a viable method in which he's going to get his proposals done.
So, you're still talking about Mandami. What about the federal cuts that's coming to Subway and everything else?
Well, that's part of the $34 million with the federal cut.
Mm-hmm.
That has to do with well, that just adds to what we were talking about.
Good point, Jen.
Payback. That's more like, I feel as though it's like payback. In regards to, hey, you guys put me through something, and now I'm just gonna remove everything.
Yeah, I mean, John and I, we spoke about his retaliatory, his petty behavior. Like, you know, who rules through pettiness? You know, it sounds funny, but it's true. Who rules through pettiness?
And you know what? This strike, that is not strike, but it is the Democrats withholding or not deciding not to vote. I'm glad that they finally decided to stand on something.
Oh,
Where
oh, what do you mean? What do you mean? Who
I'm
you
glad
talking
that they
about?
finally
Which Democrats? The common people or the elected officials?
the elected officials who's standing on making sure that people keep their insurance, because yes, the government shutdown impact everything, but which one will affect more, temporary hold or permanent rejection to getting good health?
You know,
So
it's kind of funny, Andre John, that he's still going after Obamacare. Like
Mhm. Yep.
right? You're still. I mean, that's what I'm talking about when I say pettiness.
Nightmares about Obamacare.
Huh?
Has nightmares about Obama.
Yeah. Like seriously, like you remove. Like he really. I mean, I know I don't want to belabor the point, John, because we spoke about it for half an hour or so, but he really is setting the stage for pettiness in the federal government at the highest branch. You move the Democratic president to the basement. You replace the pitcher. I mean, like, seriously, dude?
well, what about the military, that they keep firing all the heads of
Yeah,
the
I mean,
military?
that's what I'm talking about. Like,
I'm not sure, because the thing is, if they put all these new people who have no experience, and here it is, they're going different countries, and on the water they're attacking different places like Venezuela and this and that. They're just going and exploding and bombing people's um boats. There is something called retaliation.
yeah,
You know,
Dr. Ryan, you heard what China said?
what is that?
China said we have something that's called the what is it, John? The A61, the H61. He has 60 nuclear warheads and one hydrogen bomb. And it could hit the target anywhere in the United States in 20 minutes. China says, you come, you try, I will beat your ass. Like we're sitting at Jamaica, Andre, don't be no who for frightened.
Don't know who for friend.
Right? You understand?
Yeah.
So again, it goes back, Dr. Bryant, to what you're talking about. It's crazy. What's going on?
And then using the military as police. So priorities are completely off and wrong. When you actually need the military people, they're too busy policing immigrants or ICE or whatever. And here it is, you're attacking other countries. So you are really putting the United States in a vulnerable state, and then firing everyone who has experience. So it's amazing to me.
It's not firing everyone who has experience.
Well, that's what it seems.
No, you're right. That's what he's doing. But I wouldn't call it that for him, right? He's putting in people in place that would follow his lead, and their puppets. A government should not have puppets it should have checks and balances. Andre, I haven't heard much from you. Talk to
Sure, sure, but I mean, I agree. They need to have checks and balances, as John even highlighted earlier, not trusting the system. But my question to that too is that if to say to folks not to trust the system, but then we are also emphasizing the importance of voting, doing your civic duty, due diligence. Now that kind of put people in a paradox of confusion, you know, because the system here is that okay, I gotta do my due diligence, but then now it doesn't seem like the system ever becomes in our favor on a general scale. You know, this is something I mentioned before too. Like we in 2025, a lot of this the stuff that we've go and try to do, whether it's advocacy, voting, trying to get equity for people, and it's similar decades ago. The fight continues. It might be like a different battlefield, but the fight is still the same. And so it's like, what do we tell people who continue to have the faith, and some people lose the faith? Then the new generation come through and try to kind of build it back up. Like, what do we say to people? So
Keep fighting. That's what you say.
I like that, but I would say I'll go back to John.
mm-hmm.
You get what you vote for, or don't vote for. So you know what? You don't want to vote in a small time election for the elected, a local elected, for the judges. You don't want to vote for because it's not a big enough election, right? I'm not going to vote in the primary, because primary voters, the primary election in many districts represents the major vote for most districts. If you're in a Republican district or a Democratic district, if you're not willing to vote in the primary, you decide you want to be an independent, then you vote for what's, you know, you want to be an independent, or what they call it, John, an independent thinker, when in reality, you're not really independent, because you're now stuck with a candidate that is not aligned with your belief. Right? You can still, nobody says that you have to vote along party line if you're independent. But if you live in a district that is primary Democratic, it's useless to be an independent, because the person who's elected on the primary line, right, is normally the person who's going to be elected. So whether you're independent or not, if you live in a Republican zone, if you don't get involved in the primary election, the person who's the Republican is going to get elected, or the Democrat, not the independent. Independent very rarely win race.
You never know. You never know.
No, I'm not saying they don't. Listen to what I just said. The independent very rarely win races in areas that are dominated by a party. And most America, the election piece is dominated by a party. How many Congress people right now are independent? Right? We can't even think of any. The U.S. Senate has one. Bernie Sanders. No, there was another guy out of, where was he out of? New Hampshire or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And Bernie Sanders, who caucused with the Democratic Party and is considered to be a heavy Democrat, is pretty much the only independent elected senator out of 100. So 1% of the Senate, and I think 0% of the U.S. Congress. 47 presidents, there's less than 47, but they call it 47 presidents. None of them have been independent. 0 have been independent.
Well, Roger, there's the first time for everything, you know that?
I'm not saying, John, I'm not arguing none of that. I'm not arguing none of that. I'm arguing people who say I want to be independent in areas because that where you vote doesn't matter.
It does matter.
Not in areas that are lopsided in your
It
independent vote.
doesn't matter. They made their
That's
voice
what I'm saying. No,
clear
that's
when they went independent.
careful.
So it's just not two. You could pick whoever you want.
No,
I could write in
as an
whoever I
independent,
want.
listen again. An independent can only vote in the general election. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that you don't have the right to be an independent. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that independent, you have the right to be a party that never wins.
Mm-hmm.
That's your right. But I'm saying, is it worth being an independent in an area that you know whoever wins the Democratic primary is going to win the election? That's what I'm asking. That's just a question.
So remember, you have 6 minutes before the show is done.
I mean, it's just a question. I'm asking everybody. Does it make a difference for you to be an independent where we're in your area? Whoever wins the Democratic primary is going to be the president.
No, Roger, I think to each its own, whether or not they're independent, Democratic, Republican.
Yeah.
The importance is the primary, and the primary is where the primary for Democrats. That's where our general election is. It's in the primary.
That's exactly.
Except for in some areas in which you have even keel between Democrats and Republicans.
That's my point.
You know, you might stand better as being an independent, because then you won't vote. You vote in the general election where you can have the independents, the Democrats and Republicans all vote at one time. Yeah.
And John, that's my point, right? That is my point. That's exactly what my point is, right? If you're an independent, you rule yourself out of the primary vote, and that's very important. That's what I'm talking about. Not that you don't have a right, you don't have a choice. You absolutely do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You understand what I'm saying? I'm not arguing that. That's 100% true. You absolutely have the right to be whatever voter you want to be. But the question is, why does it make sense? I'm in Brooklyn. There are 51 city council people. Right? My area, the Democrat, since I've gotten involved in politics in the 90s, have been the elected person. The person that was the primary in my district for Congress, for Senate, for city council has won the election. So you are an independent voter in my district. Does your voice really matter?
All right.
That's the point I'm getting at. Not that you don't have the choice.
I think your voice does matter. Even if you can't vote in the primary, you can vote in the general election. But I think being involved civically in your community, your voice does matter.
You know, I was thinking about a lot of people called me about our guest last week, right? Dr. Bartholomew. A lot of people called. They loved her. They thought that she was knowledgeable. She's a great candidate. But she's not going to win. All right, that was the thought. And should I vote for her? Right? She's an independent. Right? So the question, again, I thought she was a great candidate. And I'm even thinking about it. You get what I'm saying? Like, she had me thinking. But the reality is, Cuomo, who's an independent, Mamdani, and Sliwa. And Cuomo is a Democrat running as an independent.
Right.
That's all my point is, ladies and guys. It's not about the question. Is not about choice. That's not.
All right, my friend, we got 1 minute left. We need to wrap it up.
Yeah. Happy birthdays out there. Early
Well, happy birthday to my niece, Ebony. She turns 40 this year.
Who?
All right now.
My niece, Ebony.
Happy birthday, Ebony. Nice.
Happy early birthday to
My niece, Christy's in her 30s. Christy's birthday is this month, too. My niece, Christy.
All right.
Wow.
So, yeah, I appreciate
You missed
that.
Jalen. You missed Jalen's birthday. Our faithful listener, Jalen.
When was his birthday?
His birthday was on Monday.
Oh, nice.
Jalen was on Monday. Mommy is on Sunday, and
birthday.
the twin.
Hold on, John. I didn't hear any invitation going out to none of us for Mommy's birthday.
Oh, Mommy's not here. She's not here.
Where's she in Haiti?
Big up to Dr. Brian's mom. Big up.
Big up Mrs. Pierre. And by the way, Mr. Pierre, avid listeners too, so we appreciate that. All good. A lot of villagers say I don't say hello to them on the air. I want to make sure I say hello to all the villagers. But if you type your name in, that's how we know when you're on. Just type your name and say hello. But thank you to all the faithful villagers. Listen, John, happy anniversary to my wife. She's
Happy anniversary.
18 years putting up with me. Happy belated birthday.
She deserves the key to the city, boy.
Oh my God.
I don't think.
God bless.
Happy birthday to my niece Alicia, my boy Corey. Happy birthday and happy birthday to anybody who I might have forgotten. Bless up.
October is tough, man. So many people's birthday.
Libra love.
Araya, happy birthday.
Bless up, family. Bless up. All right.
God bless each other. And thank you for joining.
God bless.
And thank you for your input, Janice. I love the fact that you were so caught up today in the conversation. I love it. Keep it coming. Let us know what you want to talk about. Much love, much appreciation. Good
night.
To John, Joanne, Andre, Sophia. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you for joining, participating, and viewing. Most of all, subscribing and sharing on the Village Radio Talk Show. Have a blessed Thursday. Have a blessed week. With God's prayers, we'll see you next week. Amen.
Thank you.
God bless up.
So.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Good night.